The morning the system forgot him, Kondrath was already awake. He'd been awake for an hour, in fact, sitting at the kitchen table in his apartment above the Velmorris City Guild District, drinking cold coffee and watching the pre-dawn leaderboard refresh on his wall screen. A habit. He was #2, had been #2 for 11 months. Floor 94 cleared, closing on Oren Sol's floor 100 record, at a pace that made the whole city pay attention. He'd watched the gap shrink to 6 floors and thought, one more month. Then his license pulsed on his wrist and went dark. Not a glitch, not a network drop. The band went cold, dead cold, the kind of cold it had never been in 4 years of active registration. And when he tapped the panel, the system returned 4 words in flat white text. He stared at it for a long moment, set down the coffee, tapped again. He pulled the leaderboard up. His name was gone. Not moved, not dropped, gone. The #2 slot was blank, skipped, as if it had never existed. He searched his license number. Nothing. He searched his name. Nothing. He pulled his guild's contact registry and called his team's channel, the 7-man crew he'd cleared 83 floors with over 3 years. The call connected, and Fen Brawl, his second, picked up on the second ring. "Who is this?" Fen said. Flat voice. No recognition. "Fen, it's Kana." A pause that lasted exactly 1 beat too long. "I think you have the wrong line." The call dropped. He sat very still in the kitchen. The leaderboard cycled and refreshed. Oren Sol's name sat at the top, floor 100, gold-bordered, unchanged. The #2 slot remained blank. It took him 3 hours to confirm what had been done to him. He went to the registry board's public counter at 6 in the morning and gave his name to the clerk. The clerk ran it twice and apologized. No record on file. He gave his license number. The system returned the same 4 words. He asked to speak to a supervisor. The supervisor ran the same search, looked him in the eye, with the practiced sympathy of a man delivering news he'd delivered before, and said there was simply nothing in the system matching that profile. Had he perhaps registered under a different name? He walked out before he said something that couldn't be unsaid. By noon he'd found the trace. He wasn't a technical specialist, but he knew his own system data the way any serious hunter knew theirs, the timestamps, the floor logs, the skill resonance signatures. He had backups. Every ranked hunter above floor 50 kept backups. It was standard paranoia. And when he spread his local data against what the registry was showing, the gap was not random corruption, it was precise, surgical. Every entry wiped in a 4-minute window at 2:17 in the morning, 3 days ago, through a channel no standard maintenance script touched. He'd been asleep at 2:17 3 days ago. He'd heard of Fisher exploits, black market code fragments that slid through the registry's maintenance layer and deleted targeted entries without triggering the audit flags. Expensive, illegal, extremely difficult to source. Not impossible if you had the resources of the city's #1 ranked hunter and the registry board's internal access credentials. He sat with that for exactly as long as it took to finish a second cup of coffee. Then he picked up his gear, walked to the tower gate on the south edge of the guild district, and pressed his dead license band to the scanner. The scanner didn't reject him. The gate didn't lock. He walked through. He stopped on floor 1 and looked around at the familiar gray stone antechamber, the entrance tier, the one every licensed hunter walked through the first day they cleared their trial floor. And for the first time since his band went dark that morning, the system spoke to him. He read it twice, then he started walking. Floor 1 cleared in 4 minutes. The monsters didn't know his name either, they just fell. The board knew he was in the tower by floor 12. He didn't know how, maybe a warden spotted him on camera, maybe a residual signal, but by floor 15 there was a 4-man enforcement team waiting at the floor 16 threshold, full licensed gear, block formation, with a printed notice of trespass, and a request that he submit to identity verification. He walked through the threshold. The floor lock, the hard seal that kept unlicensed individuals from passing between floors, didn't activate. One of the enforcers grabbed his arm. The grip connected, physically. But the lock seal triggered on the enforcer's own license band instead of on Khan, flagging him for unauthorized use of a floor transition system during an active trespass situation, which technically made the enforcer the one causing the block. The man released him in confusion. Khan kept walking. By floor 30, the board had escalated to a 7-man team with a senior warden and a judicial hold document. The hold document required the target to have a registered system presence to execute. He didn't have one. The warden tried twice, watched the system return an error, and then stood there with the document in his hand, while Khan walked past him and cleared the floor. Word spread through the guild district, the way word always spread in Velmoris, fast and loud, and full of wrong details. The leaderboard's activity log showed anomalous floor clearance events on floors where no registered hunter was logged as present. People started watching, the message boards filled with speculation, a ghost in the tower, a system glitch, an unregistered dungeon creature clearing its own habitat. Nobody guessed the truth, because the truth required believing that a man the registry said didn't exist was methodically rewriting himself back into it, one floor at a time, with nobody able to stop him. The board's chairman, Dale Voss, issued 3 internal escalation orders between floor 30 and floor 60. Khan knew this because on floor 47, he found an enforcement team that had been given his photo, his actual face, pulled from somewhere offline, which meant the board was using non-system resources to identify someone the system said wasn't there. That told him everything he needed to know about how nervous they'd become. He cleared floor 47 and kept walking. The floors deepened, the monsters scaled. From floor 50 onward, the tower shifted into territory that only A-rank hunters were cleared to enter. Territory that required 3 independent clearance verifications before any licensed hunter could pass the access gate. The gates opened for Khan without hesitation, because the gates operated on a licensed presence detection system that literally could not detect him. He was somewhere around floor 60 when he understood what Oren Saul must be feeling right now. Oren had paid, enormously, and in ways that would ruin him if they surfaced, to make Kondrath not exist. And Kondrath was currently on floor 63 of the Velmoris Tower, clearing A-rank content without a license, without a class on record, without a name in any system anywhere, and nothing in the entire institutional architecture of the hunter world could find a single mechanism to stop him. He cleared floor 63 in 11 minutes. Oren came personally at floor 72. Khan had expected it. Floor 72 was where his record had been wiped. 2:17 in the morning, 3 days ago, the precise timestamp embedded in the Fisher exploit trace he'd found in his backup data. Oren would know that. Oren was smart enough to understand what floor 72 meant in the context of the Echo audit, even if he didn't know the class's name. If there was a floor to make a stand, it was that one. He was waiting in the cleared antechamber between floor 71 and the floor 72 gate. Tall, gold-ranked border on his coat, his floor 100 license badge catching the dungeon light. 2 of his personal squad flanked him. 3 board enforcers stood to the side, holding documents they all knew by now were useless. Oren looked at him the way powerful men look at problems they've decided to solve through presence alone. "You should stop here," Oren said. His voice was controlled. "Whatever you think you're doing, it ends here." Kanchan looked at him for a moment, then at the floor 72 gate behind him. "Move," Kanchan said. "The board has issued a full revocation of..." "Of what?" Khan said. "My record? You already did that." The silence in the antechamber was absolute. Oren's squad moved to block the gate physically. Chun walked forward. The floor lock seal on the gate activated, keyed to Oren's party as registered present hunters, and flagged their licenses as obstructing a non-system present entity's passage, which the system interpreted as a licensed hunter physically blocking a maintenance corridor, generating an automatic compliance flag on all 3 licenses simultaneously. Oren stared at the notification on his own band. Khan walked through the gate. He cleared floor 72 in 9 minutes. He didn't look back at Oren when he passed through to floor 73. He didn't need to. The last 28 floors were the quietest he'd ever cleared. No enforcement teams, no blocking squads, no documents. Either the board had run out of mechanisms, or Voss had finally done the math on what floor 100 was going to produce, and decided that sending more people to fail publicly was worse than letting it happen. Khan moved through the upper floors of the tower at a steady, unhurried pace, the pace of a man who had a destination and no doubt about reaching it. Maybe, he thought, briefly, about his team. About Fen Brawl saying, "I think you have the wrong line," in that flat, practiced voice. About the 3 years of floors they'd cleared together, before Fen picked up the phone that morning and pretended not to know him. He didn't feel rage about it. He felt something colder and more permanent, the kind of clarity that comes when you understand exactly what people are worth, and you don't have to guess anymore. He stepped onto floor 99 and cleared it in 7 minutes. Then he walked to the floor 100 gate, pressed his dead license band to the scanner out of old habit, and walked through when the gate, as it had been doing for 28 floors, opened without a word. Floor 100 was vast, cathedral-ceilinged, black stone, the kind of space that swallowed sound. The final boss of the tower had been cleared by exactly one hunter in the history of Velmoris, Oren Saul, 14 months ago, a fight that had lasted 4 hours and made him famous. Kian cleared it in 22 minutes. His class was unregistered, his rank was blank, his name wasn't in the system, and none of that had anything to do with how hard he hit. When the last monster fell, the tower went still, and the system spoke. Outside the tower, on every public leaderboard screen in Velmoris City, the display shifted. His name returned to the #2 slot, then the system recalculated and moved it. Beneath his name, in the same clean registry font that had been posting hunter data for 40 years, the Fisher exploit log printed in full. Timestamp, 2:17 a.m., 3 days prior. Authorization credentials, Board Chairman Dale Voss, Internal Maintenance Channel. Executing Party, Oren Saul. External Command Interface. Co-signatories, 4 board members. Names and license numbers listed in order. The Guild District saw it before the board did. Oren Saul's gold-bordered rank badge went gray on every screen in the city, the system's automatic response to an active license under investigation for registry manipulation. Dale Voss submitted his resignation to the board's internal channel, 11 minutes after the log surfaced, before a single vote could be called. The 4 co-signatories' licenses flagged simultaneously. In the tower's floor 100 chamber, a registry courier materialized via emergency transport. A young woman in board gray, holding a sealed document with shaking hands. Formal reinstatement, full restoration of standing. An apology, worded carefully, from whatever board members hadn't been named in the log. Khan looked at the document for a moment. He set it on the stone floor, unsigned. He didn't need the board to tell him he existed. The leaderboard had already done it. Every floor he'd cleared had already done it. The system that had tried to erase him had, in the end, written his name larger than it had ever been, and had taken Oren Saul's with it on the way down. He picked up his jacket from where he'd set it during the final fight, rolled his sleeves down, walked to the tower's exit gate. The gate opened. It had been opening for him all day,